Hello there, Shortcuts. This is Stephen here. Um, this is video one for Wednesday, September 13th. And this is a jazz, pop, country, hip hop selection. For those of you who don't know, the price list will go out 9 p.m. Wednesday sharp. If there's anything that catches your eye, you want to know more, drop me an email. Let's get into it. It's really tough to think about what the kickoff record should be for this particular bundle, but I've gone with this. Mad Libs, Shades of Blue, the Vinyl Me Please, record of the month from last month. So I'm just going to read. This is the 20th anniversary edition of Mad Lib's Blue Note Invasion. Lacquers cut by Cicely Balston at AIR, pressed on exclusive 2LP green and blue vinyl with listening notes by Dylan Green. Now, I'm just going to show you the green and blue vinyl from my own copy. So this is unsealed because this is mine, but that gives you an idea. And there's a green record which is kind of similar. So Madlib, I'm pretty sure he was a Chicago hip hop producer who got access to the Blue Note library to create this record, which is actually on the Blue Note label. As if you noticed that from here, I believe it's the first ever hip hop record on the Blue Note label. And what's really fun, of course, it's super chill and cool, and the beats are amazing, and of course, there's fun and games to be had in trying to trace what belongs to what and what are the bases of the songs. In fact, often he actually names the song the same, so you can follow the lineage pretty easily. But the listening notes give some great insight as to how this all goes down. It's a lot of fun, and it's surprisingly chilled. It is more like a trip hop record than a hip hop record. It's really, really good. So there you go. Madlib, Shades of Blue, the Vinyl Me Please hip hop record of the month from last month. I'm going to actually follow that up with another hip hop record. This one of a slightly different vintage. This is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. This is the Japanese P-Vine, the legendary P-Vine label. This is the repress of The Message. I mean, it's just an iconic record. And the contemporary reviews from the time are just so much fun to read. Now, you've got the visionary folks like Robert Christgau and others who raved about it. And then others kind of going, what the hell is this? But then there's that 8-minute classic that is The Message itself. And interestingly, some of the other album tracks are more funk than hip hop, more attuned to kind of Sly and the Family Stone. But then every so often, the block kicks in, and so highly recommended. Beautiful copy as well. Next record is this. The Whole Story. Kate Bush, the compilation record she did in the late 80s that documented the first, I think it's the first five records. There's the Gatefold, which actually gives you the name of the record, but also the chart position that it took up in the UK, and then pictures of all the singles and this rather wild image on the back. This copy is absolutely pristine, in gorgeous condition. Wuthering Heights, cloud busting, the man with a child in his eyes, breathing loud hounds of love. Running up that hill, army dreamers sat in your lap, the dreaming babushka. Arguably one of the great compilations of the 80s. And this Japanese... I believe it's the first pressing, but it's magnificent. So hard to find now. My gosh. All right, let's keep going with kind of iconic female singers. This time from the 60s, although this record was released in 1972. This was Cher's 8th record, and it was so well reviewed at the time. The contemporary reviews are stunningly good. And having listened to side one, I think it's the production. I mean, Sonny Bono's still involved in this, but it's really cool. Look at that sleeve. That's Cher. Pre-plastic surgery and all the business that she got up to in the 80s. It's called Foxy Lady. You can see there kind of a somber image on the back too. What's also pretty cool about this record is it is the white label promo, Japanese first press. Yeah, quite dramatic. Almost kind of 60s chambers pop. Kind of think Scott Walker and drama and strings. Although every so often a classic pop song breaks out too. Yeah, really interesting record. Okay, so this is, I think, one of the great combos in the history of Blue Note. There you can see the sleeve. This is Hank Mobley with Donald Byrd and Lee Morgan. This is the final record in the batch that were marked as mint unplayed. And you can see here, it is absolutely pristine. Now, it doesn't have the glossy sheen of some of the others, but I think that's more because it's a different series, the BLP series. So this is Blue Note 1540. My best guess on this one is that this is an early 80s repress. Crazy expensive on Discogs. The record itself is I think it's, oh man, I had looked this up, but I'm pretty sure it's late 50s, kind of pure hard bop. Yeah, very, very, very accomplished record, of course, and rather wild in places too. So yeah, Hank Mobley with Donald Byrd and Lee Morgan. Gosh. All right, let's look at something that's a little bit more contemporaneous. This is also a white label promo, and I cannot find any information on Discogs or any information anywhere about this particular record. This is the white label promo of Usher's record, Confessions. Now, what's interesting is, can you see on the sleeve there? I'll look through here, look at that. It says it's a promo EP. So it is a distillation of Usher's Confessions down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 songs on a single LP on the Arista label on white label. Now, this record is also in excellent condition, and that's pretty rare. As I said, I cannot find any information about it. Usher's Confessions featuring guest appearances from the likes of Ludacris and Lil Jon and others. But yeah, what an unusual piece of vinyl. For those of you who like your more contemporary R&B. All right, we're going to go right back now to Todd Rundgren's double LP, Todd, which I believe was the follow-up to Wizard, A True Star. Now, I played this for the first time today, and it is bonkers. There's the opening synthesizer loop kind of gives you some kind of a I guess some inkling as to the mad genius that lies within. It's entirely unpredictable. It is certainly more proggish than Wizard of True Star, but it's also a little bit more somber. He he, gosh, does he do his own thing? But it's 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 a very idiosyncratic and personal take on music. And, as a producer, this guy went on to produce the Ramones and all sorts. He did some incredible things. But in the studio, pretty much playing and doing everything himself, he's rather wonderful, albeit odd. And isn't that how a lot of us would like to be thought of? I know this guy is wonderful and odd as well. It's Neil Young. This is the Japanese, actually, I don't know if it's the first or second press. I suspect it's the first press of Zuma. Zuma being a great record that he does with Crazy Horse, with some absolutely iconic songs. In this particular record, for me, obviously there's Cortez the Killer, but I do love Barstool Blues as well, and Stupid Girl is always fun. It's a big thuggish sound. The band just crank out some serious noise on Zuma. And it's pretty hard to find with an Obi, as long as I keep it intact for you all. Yeah. Pretty special record, that one. We'll keep the oddities coming. I love this. I got myself this a couple of months back, and I've been watching out for others because I bloody love it. This is Johnny Cash, America, a 200 years salute in history and song. And it really is what it says on the tin. If you see the track listing, it is basically a historical breakdown of America and its wild, wild west beginnings. All the way from the big battle on wheels and wings. Come take a trip in my airship. It sounds very strange, and it kind of is. And that's why it is one of, up until later phase, Johnny Cash, where he did some pretty special things with Rick Rubin, very hit and miss on vinyl. Some of the compilations are clearly where the action is. But I really like how odd this is. His wife, June Cash, sings and writes some songs as well. And then there's this kind of declaration in the middle. It's hard cardboard gatefold, of course. He's in fine voice. His guitar playing and a picking style of his is great. It's just mad but fun. I suspect that is a very much a niche choice, but somebody out there might love it as much as I do. All right. The rather wonderful Gene Ammons next. This is a 1962 kind of jam record where he just got a bunch of his buddies and they just played, and it's like 3 or 4 songs that take up the entire 2 sides of vinyl. Notable because Mr. John Coltrane plays on this particular record, and yeah, rather lovely it is too. Gene Ammons and his All-Stars, 1962. And then finally this record. Now, normally this record disappears in a heartbeat. For whatever reason, last time I had it, I marked it down as for one of the club members who reminded me last week that they had no interest whatsoever in this record. So putting it back up. But it is the absolutely wonderful Cool Strutting by Sonny Clark that regularly appears right at the top of the lists of the best jazz albums of all time, with Art Farmer, Jackie McLean, Sonny Clark, Paul Chambers, and Philly Joe Jones. That is just a smile on vinyl, that record. Well, there you have it. Some Mad Lib, some wacky Johnny Cash and Todd Rundgren, some white label action from Cher and Usher. I'm not convinced that all of these acts will have been brought together in a list before quite like that. If you have any questions, anything you're interested in, let me know. All right, this too will be soul and blues. All right, see you then. Bye.